Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam to all Vaishnavas assembled. Actually, today I grabbed this opportunity to discuss few points on Srimad Bhagavatam. As Vijayata Mataji last evening, she said she's preoccupied with something else. So I would like to Shri Shri Radha Madhav Ashtasaki Vrindi ki jai. Rajapu Jagannath Baldev Subhadramaya Sudarshan ki jai. Panchatattva Bhagavan ki jai. Gaur Nitai ki jai. So I would like to thank all the wonderful devotees for nicely chanting the holy names in the Brahma Muhurta. So now we'll move on to the most sweetest part of the day, that is discussions on Srimad Bhagavatam. Before which I would like to start with a very, very, very short kirtan. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jayo Gandharvika Giridhari Gaura Hari Gandharvika Giridhari Gaura Hari Jai Jayo Prabhupada 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 Jai Jaya Gurudev 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol 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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter number 16, text number 6. Atavasya padamboja makaranda liham satam kimmanye rasat palaper ayaso yad asat vyavaha. So, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, the devotees of the Lord are accustomed to licking up the honey available from the lotus feet of the Lord. What is the use of topics which simply waste one's valuable life? Purport. So, since the purport is little longer, we'll discuss as we are progressing while discussing our points today. Om Agnanatimarandasya Gnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kathamayam Datati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatalbhyascha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Shrimate Jayapataka Swamniti Namni Nama Acharya Padaya Nitai Krupa Padayani Gaura Kata Dhamadaya Nagaragram Patarine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamniti Namni Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisheshi Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine. I would once again like to thank all my senior Vaishnavas for giving me this wonderful opportunity, which I am doing it for my own purification. So, reading from Canto 1, Chapter 16, How Parikshit Received the Age of Kali, text number 6. Okay. So before we'll start today's discussion, I would like to make one point here, like why Parikshit Maharaj was was referred as Digvijaya. If you see the previous verses, in a couple of them, it's mentioned Digvijaya. So what is the meaning of Digvijaya? That meaning is that king who was on his way to conquer all the places on the earth. For what? To ensure that Sanatana Dharma is properly established. Right? He ensured everybody, follows Sanatana Dharma. He did not do this for personal enjoyment, right? Like the Alexander the Great, he did it for his own personal sense gratification. So, so we're coming to today's verse. It is focused on two main points. That is, how devotees are keen about hearing the glories of Supreme Lord, hearing, Shravanam. So it is referred as to a licking of the honey available from the lotus feet of the Lord. The focus on hearing is there. And let us see from this verse, what kind of hearing we should be doing and what are the various aspects of hearing and how we should not waste our time. And the second point is how beautifully it is Prabhupada has written in the purport, the definition of Krishna's lotus feet. So beautiful. The glories of the lotus feet is discussed so nicely. So we all know the incident that Parikshit Maharaj saw the Shudra. Who is the Shudra? The Kali Purusha. How was he disguised? As a king. And he disguised as a king. What he was doing? He was hurting the cow and the bull. And Parikshit Maharaj was about to punish the master of this Kali Yuga. At that time, the Saunakadi Rishis asked Sutta Goswami to stop. Then why did they tell that to him? They told Sutta Goswami to please continue only if the story has any connection with Krishna Katha. Right? They didn't want to hear anything else which is not connected to Krishna Katha. And why did they say this? What was their mood? We'll understand from this. So their mood was, they showed their attitude towards cow protection. They're asking, why Parikshit Maharaj only did not, punish and kill that person? They were asking. And another concern for them was, they were wanting to hear only Krishna Katha. They were not anything else. They're worried about their consciousness being corrupted by hearing other things. So that is their mood we should understand from the Saunakadi Rishis. So we also were experienced, in our, young age when we are attending classes, school. In history classes, we sometimes have a similar question. We'll ask, what is this fight or what is this got to do with us? What is this got to do with this current age? We used to contemplate. However, these rishis were so great. They were asking this question, how will this help us? When they say, how will this help us? They are taking the people of Kali Yuga. That is what their mood was. Has this story got any connection with Krishna Katha? Is what their question was. In fact, once a person asked Srila Prabhupada, like, how did you perform this amazing wonder, like miracle, whatever they say, in this world, like making all the Westerners as devotees, and you also were successful in building 108 temples? Then Srila Prabhupada simply said, I have arranged hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. So morning we used to have Srimad Bhagavatam class, evenings Bhagavad Gita class. So by doing this daily, they were able to do bhakti nicely. So that is what, even if you can see, our leader, MMD Prabhu, is also doing the same thing. So he's engaged all of us in this seva, and all of you are doing wonderful seva by discussing Srimad Bhagavatam class every morning. So in fact, once when Prabhupada was in Canada, he wanted to take over a church which was vacant, not being used. So a devotee asked, what shall we do here, Prabhupada? So Prabhupada said, we'll preach, we'll hear about Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita class, and If you don't do that, even we will have to get like how the previous people, they stopped preaching Bible, reading Bible, Krishna Katha. So we have to preach and hear Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, wherever it is, whichever place it is. Regularly we should do it. We have to do Namak Sankirtan. So wherever we sit and do Namak Sankirtan, hear and preach Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, there surely Lord is present there. And for this, we have a very strong Shastric reference. So Krishna says, Naham tistani vaikunte yoginam hridayeshu chiva tatra tistami narada yatra gayanti mat bhaktaha. So what does the translation say? My dear Narada, Krishna says to Narada, actually I do not reside in my abode, Vaikunta, nor do I reside within the hearts of the yogis, but I reside in that place where my pure devotees chant my holy name and discuss my form, my pastimes, and my qualities. So, but here we are going little beyond this verse. What is that? Here the listeners are telling the preacher. Who are those listeners? Saunakadi Rishis. And they are telling to the preacher. Who is the preacher? Sutta Goswami. So they are telling, please tell us only those details which are connected to Krishna. Else don't tell us. As we will develop the taste for hearing Gramakatha. Nowadays, we can hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Nowadays we are unable to hear Srimad Bhagavatam even for one full hour. You get sleepy in the class. But when it comes to mundane things like watching movie for 3 hours, we'll be fully awake, to watch the movie for 3 full hours. Sometimes we get, at least in my case, we get angry. Why these advertisements are coming in between and disturbing the flow? This is the taste. So many of them, they read, also the so-called Kali Puran. What is it, Kali Puran? Morning newspapers, various newspapers, Deccan Herald, Indian Express, and so on and so forth. In fact, many cannot even have the cup of tea or coffee without the newspaper in the hand. They need to read right from the first page till the last page. They need to read the whole thing. So, and one more thing is nowadays newspapers, there are no positive news. Most of it, 90% is all negative news, all crap. So that is why it's all been selling so fast also. Only people are interested to read all this Gramakatha, which is not connected to Krishna. So here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes in the second paragraph, what is writing? He's writing, our duration of life is not very long, and there is no certainty of when we shall be ordered to leave everything for the next stage. Thus, it is our duty to see that not a moment of our life is wasted in topics which are not related with Lord Krishna. Any topic, however pleasant, is not worth reading if it is devoid of its relation to Krishna. So clearly, Prabhupada is writing, whichever is not related to Krishna should not even be heard or read. Now, let us see a few words to word meaning in this verse and understand what is the message for us. So, let us take the third in the shloka, third line, the fourth line. Then I'll come back to the first and second. Here the third line is saying, Kim anner asad alapair. So any alap which is talking about the illusionary, temporary things of this world. Kim, why? Why are we wasting some precious time of ours? So this is the message for us when we are reading newspapers or browsing any internet, reading any other magazines. So why are we wasting our time? Srila Prabhupada is saying, Srila Bhagavatam is saying this. Asad vyavaha. So we must avoid unnecessarily waste of time by hearing these contents, and we must try to see if there is any connection with Krishna. If we have to read anything, see if there's any connection with Krishna in that. So this happens to us, who have the habit of reading. We may feel that some of the literatures are in mode of goodness. We may see, oh, this also is writing. After all, he's writing about Krishna also. Why not we read it? So we may feel like that. But we must see whether that is the person who is writing, we should see whether he is connected to the bona fide parampara, whether he is really speaking about Krishna from the bona fide parampara. Otherwise, we should avoid that. Because we are not so elevated like Srila Prabhupada is. For this, to quote an example for this is, Prabhupada once saw Charlie Chaplin, that person who is humorous. So he saw that, he saw his humor and he said that, oh, Krishna's humor is coming through him. But we are not able to, think like that, because we are not so elevated like Srila Prabhupada to think that way. So this can happen not only in seeing, it happens to hearing certain music also. We are full, oh, this song is anyway speaking about Krishna, let me hear about it. So we should always be very careful. Who is the singer, whether he is from parampara, whether, all these things we have to check. So we have to only hear from devotees, from acharyas, bhajans, which is composed by acharyas. So we should be very careful about that. We should hear only that. The beauty here is, in this session, the listeners who is the listeners addressing to whom? An exalted, elevated rishi. Who is that? Suta Goswami. Still they are warning Suta Goswami, this Raunakadi rishis. They are saying that, please, as I emphasized earlier also, they are saying, don't speak anything other than Krishna Katha. He's saying, however, the mood will never be actually, they only want to glorify the Supreme Lord. So we must be very careful. Nowadays we have many false gurus, they only bogus gurus, they who prefix their names with guru themselves and they start speaking. So, so many outside speakers, outside bona fide sampradaya, they may be very famous. What they are saying, they're saying that they use a lot of jokes and they say we need to include them as a people of this Kali Yuga, current age. They may not like too much philosophy, or they may not be interested so much in the subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam. So they are including all these jokes in between. But Srila Prabhupada never approved of such things. We cannot bring down the standard of Srimad Bhagavatam to the standard of such people. We should take these people to the standard of Srimad Bhagavatam. We must speak the subject as it is. That's why Prabhupada's books are as it is. We should speak the subject matter as it is presented by Srila Prabhupada. If not, how can we call ourselves spiritual and followers of Guru Parampara? It is not possible. We have to speak exactly from the Guru Parampara. So, now a few other words in the first two lines. Now I'll speak the first two lines. What does it say? Athava, atavaha. If not otherwise, don't narrate to us if they are not linked to Asya, Krishna. So, Pada Ambuja. So beautiful. So, lotus feet. So, there is a definition of lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada gives a clear one paragraph of this explanation. I'll read it now. Actually, even if you see, even the Devatas, they used to never put their feet on the ground. For this, if you can remember the picture of Nala, Kuvara and Manigriva, when they got liberated from Krishna, when just before that they were in the form of tree, but as soon as they liberated, they were just above the ground. They were never touched on the ground. They're standing feet above. Even if you see the Ratha of Yudhishthira Maharaj, Ratha is always a little few feet above the ground. So Krishna also never stands on the floor. They have lotus below them, right? So in this connection, I remember beautiful prayers of Kunti Maharani from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 8th chapter and 22nd shloka, where Kunti Maharani beautifully describing Lord Krishna is saying, Nama Pankaja Nabhaya, Nama Pankaja Maline, Namaha Pankaja Netraya, Namaste Pankajangriye. So she's saying, my respectful obeisances unto you, O Lord, whose abdomen is marked with a depression like a lotus flower. who are always decorated with garlands of lotus flower, whose glance is as cool as a lotus and whose feet are engraved with lotuses. So the vision of the lotuses. That way Srila Prabhupada says that this abode of Krishna is like a lotus flower. The whole abode, the Goloka Vrindavana is itself like a lotus flower. In this connection, Narottam Das Thakur has written a wonderful Vaishnava song, and I would like to just sing a two verses, paragraphs from that. So, describing Golok Vrindavana. Vrindavana Ramyasthana Divya Chintamani Dhama Ratana Mandira Mano Hara Avrita Kalindi Nire Rajahamsa Keli Kore Tahe Shobe Kanaka Kamala. So translation goes like this. Beautiful Vrindavanas filled with Chintamani gems and many jeweled palaces and temples. Many regal swans play in the waters of the Yamuna, and in those waters a splendid golden lotus flower grows. Dhara madhye hema pita astadale bestita astadale pradana nahika. Dhara madhye ratna sane boshiyate dui jane shama sange sundari radhika. So, in the middle of that lotus is a golden place surrounded by 8 petals. On each of these 8 petals, the 8 principal gopis reside. And in the center, Lord Shyama Sundaran, beautiful Srimati Radharani, sits on a jeweled throne. So beautiful. If you all have some time, you can go through the meaning. So beautiful. So, Srila Prabhupada, actually, if you see, even Lord Brahma is also sitting on the lotus flower. Even before Lord Brahma's born, the lotus flower was there. So, Srila Prabhupada, he has written an entire paragraph for us in this purport. He says that the spiritual planet, Golok Vrindavan, the eternal abode of Lord Krishna, is shaped like the whirl of a lotus flower. Even when the lotus descends to any one of the mundane planets, he does so by manifesting his own abode as it is. Thus, his feet remain always on the same big whirl of the lotus flower. His feet are also as beautiful as the lotus flower. Therefore, it is said that Lord Krishna has a lotus feet. So here, there is a word used here, makaranda. So here, honey is drawn only from the lotus flower. It is not from any other flower. It is drawn only from the lotus flower. So here I remember Vrajanath Prabhu mentioning that once when he was in Dubai, he seen this. There was a bottle which says honey drawn from lotus flower. In Dubai, it is available. So here we are referring to the same honey, nectarian discussion, which these rishis and the devotees of the Supreme Person of Godhead are having. The same nectarian smell which came out of the lotus with tulasi leaves from the lotus feet of the Lord, Supreme Lord, and the 4 Kumaras who smelled that and they became devotees. So next is Liham, Likin and Satam. So all the devotees are called like this. Those who are taken shelter of Param Sat, the ultimate truth, also exist eternally. So you all can think, what does it mean when we say they exist eternally, right? You can come back later. So Liham, to lick. Liham means to lick. So here you can see, for prasadam can taken in four types. What is that? Chavya, Chusya, Lehya, and Pehya. That is prasadam that is chewed, prasadam that is licked, prasadam that is tasted with tongue, taken by tongue, and prasadam that is drunk. So here we can see from beautiful verse which you all know that Chaturvida. Chaturvida Shri Bhagavat Prasada Swadana Triptam Haribhakta Sangha Kritvaiva Triptem Bhajata Sadaiva Vande Guru Shri Charanarabindam. So every morning we are hearing this. So what are we supposed to do when we see the lotus feet of the Lord? We are supposed to lick the lotus feet, is it? No, I'm joking. So it's not possible. So we have to apply the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord to our forehead. So that is exactly what everyone in Srimad Bhagavatam has done. What did Dhruva Maharaj do when he saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead? He repeatedly kissed the lotus feet of the Lord out of ecstasy. So, of course, we all don't have that opportunity to lick the lotus feet of, because we may contaminate by our our mouth, so it is not possible. So this is not even recommended to the home deities to kiss the lotus feet of the Lord. Maybe we can just aspire or touch the lotus feet of the Lord. Now, focusing on the second topic of hearing. So that is why, in fact, Krishna has given us 2 ears and 1 mouth. And another important feature is that he is saying here Krishna Katha unlimitedly. We cannot close our ears, right? Unless we ourselves put our fingers inside. We cannot close our ears. But mouth, we can just close without any help, right? So Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada used to say, we must know what to hear. Because you are what you hear. You are what you hear. If you take any student in the field of science, commerce, arts, what they say, they will most probably say that we heard. Why do you take this? Why did you select this subject? Or why did you take this? They say, probably we heard a lot about this. That's what they say. Hearing only, many of them say. So now it is very important to need to do Shravanam of Krishna, right? 637. Okay. So now let us focus on some symptoms of good hearing. I'll take a few minutes and stop. So what is the symptom of good hearing? If you hear Krishna Katha come out, we immediately discuss these important points like a student. When a student comes up out of examination hall, he'll immediately discuss the question paper with everybody, right? Now, actually, Kalpavriksha has started that. The moment they hear the everyday class, they are giving up points. Now, the Gopinath circle also, devotees have started doing it, which is very good practice, which is to hear that we are doing this. So, next is we must chew the same thing like cow does. So, His Grace, Radhesham Prabhu says, we must at least catch 3 people and share the same points to others. What will happen when we share what we have heard? It will remain forever. We will not forget. So, we should catch and share those points to somebody, to some devotee. Next is we must feel that we must apply this in our daily life, not that here and just put it from here to here. We should try and apply it in our daily life. This is the Makaranda Liham Satam. Then we must always wait. We should eagerly wait for our Sunday feast, Sunday feast in the temple. We should be waiting. Oh, today I'm going to hear this from the speaker, Srimad Bhagavatam, and I can take wonderful notes, points, which I can try and implement in our lives. And we must develop the taste for hearing. So, I have seen some even here while eating also. So much taste. So, Prithu Maharaj, he wanted 1 crore ears so that he can keep on hearing the wonderful devotees. So, he wants to hear the nectarian lectures. We should also develop that, taste for hearing nectarian lectures. So, our test for the advancement is that how much taste we have developed for Krishna Katha. So, that is the test for our advancement. Even how it should be, our taste, when the speaker stops the class, we should think, oh my God, the speaker should have spoken for more time. Why did he stop? That should be our mood. So, like we hear is guys, Radhesham Prabhu, we don't want even stop, even after we will go on here, we want to go on and go on hearing. We don't want Prabhu to stop like that. Many speakers are there like that. So, what creates taste in hearing? What is that? Finally, one more point and I'll stop. What is the great taste is? We must do seva for great sadhus. If we hear Krishna Katha in Dham, we get the mercy of Dham. So what is the Dham? Srila Prabhupada is saying our ISKCON temples are Dhams. And Srila Prabhupada says hearing together with devotees. Because together we get the ruchi. Also we can discuss points, right? We should make more, we should make it more interesting, right? And we should hear with eagerness. And next point is we must make some notes for our own benefit. This will get, we can get some ruchi we can develop from making notes and also sharing with somebody. So stating all these points, I would clear the discussions today. Then we also pray that all of us develop such taste. And we also share every day Srimad Bhagavatam class to everyone. And also thank once again our leaders for giving me this opportunity. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Patita Pavan Gurudev ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you.